Hey, ICD Youth Ministry, happy Easter. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you are celebrating this beautiful day and enjoying the celebration of the Lord's resurrection today. This is going to be shorter than normal for a few different reasons, but one, because Avila is running around the house right now. But I just want to share with you guys a few quick thoughts today for Easter and celebrate the joy of the Easter season. So I've been praying through the Gospel of John in the past few days on the resurrection specifically. And it's just been interesting to pray with because I don't know if you can resonate with this, but I feel like a lot of times it's very comfortable for me to pray with the cross. It's very comfortable for me to pray with the idea of walking with Christ through suffering, but it's a lot harder for me sometimes to pray with the resurrection, to pray with the central reality of our faith, really, to pray with what God has done for us through the resurrection. So even when it comes time for Easter, it's yeah, I celebrate Easter and I'm excited, but it's hard for me to live there for a long time and really dwell on the fact that this is the love that God has for me. Not just that he went to the cross, but that he went to the cross so that he could be raised from the dead, so that he could defeat sin and death, and so that he could usher in our salvation into heaven. So as I've been praying through the Gospel of John, that's really been resonating with me. But specifically, I would invite you guys to pray with the Gospel of John this week, but very specifically, the lines in chapter 20, verses 11 through 18. I'm not going to read the whole thing because, let's be honest, that'll be boring, and you can do it on your own time. It'll be much more exciting for you and probably more reflective. But I've just been praying through that a lot in my own life, and specifically, there's this beautiful line where Jesus is appearing to Mary Magdalene, and he tells her the following: "Do not hold to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father, but go to my brethren and say to them, I'm ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." And when I was praying, that line, "go to my brethren," really stuck out to me, because for what I would believe and what appears to be the first time in the Gospels, Jesus is referring to the disciples not just as his followers or by their name, but he refers to them as brothers in his name. He refers to them as his own brethren, his own family. And that really struck a chord with me of what the resurrection has done for us, what it's accomplished for us, that we are now part of the family of God, that we are not just a name, that we are not just a random body that exists in this earth, but we are a son and we are a daughter of God, and that's what Christ does for us through the resurrection. So that was one thing that really stuck out to me, but then the other thing that stuck out to me is earlier on in that gospel, Jesus, when he's first appearing to Mary Magdalene, he appears to her and he says, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom do you seek?" And again, that kind of just struck another chord with me, that this idea that we've been going through such a tumultuous time for the past few weeks, and we've been dealing with a lot. Mary Magdalene, in the same sort of boat, right? She witnessed the death of her close master, her close teacher, Christ, and surely that would have been a terrible and very tragic thing for her to go through. Sorry, Avila's sitting right down below me and being really funny right now. But that would have been a terrible thing for her to go through and see the death of her friend and her mentor, and crying over the grief of this moment. But when Jesus appears to her and says, "Why are you weeping? Whom do you seek?" I was immediately thrown back to the beginning of the Gospel of John, where those are his first words in the Gospel of John. The first recorded words in the Gospel of John that Jesus says is, "What do you seek?" So it's for me, I was just thinking about how it changes now from a what to a whom, It's not just, hold on, she might make it, okay, we're good. But it's not just a what are you seeking, seeking these random feelings or this random happiness. Sometimes we can treat the faith like that, I'm just treating it as to what I can get out of it, but to a whom do you seek? And really calling me, say hello. Really calling me out to, what do I seek in the faith? And do I seek just the trappings of faith? Do I seek just the good feelings, or even just going to church? Do I seek that above Christ himself, who is there in the church, above him who is presenting himself to me in those things? And really kind of calling me on this Easter Sunday, Lord, how are you calling me to not just practice my faith, but to know you intimately and to know you deeply? And to recognize that I don't need to weep. Obviously I can still feel pain and still feel sorrow, But I don't need to weep, because ultimately at the end of the day, you are with me, and that is the glory of the resurrection. That's the glory of what Christ does for us through the resurrection. So I invite you guys to pray with this, the Gospel of John, chapter 20, and just pray through what he's talking about, the resurrection, because it's very, very beautiful to reflect on for this Easter Sunday. But to that end, the last thing I want to leave you guys with to celebrate this beautiful Easter Sunday is a quote from Fulton Sheen that just kind of rocked my world when I was reading it. But as Fulton Sheen said, that the cross provided the questions and the resurrection provided the answers. That the cross provided the questions and the resurrection provided the answer. And that's just a beautiful way to think of what the resurrection has done for us and is still doing for us today. And especially during what we've been going through for the past month or so now, there are all these questions and all these uncertainties and all these unanswered things that are going on in our heads. But at the end of the day, the resurrection is the whole entire point of the faith. It provides the whole entire answer that yes, we might go through these sufferings right now, and yes, we might be dealing with these things that are really hard and really difficult, but at the end of the day, there's nothing that is going to be able to separate us from the love of God except for ourselves, except for our own sin, right? Christ comes to us through this resurrection in order to give us the hope of the resurrection for our own lives, that we can live a life resurrected, that we don't have to be people of sorrow, we don't have to be people that are down in the dumps eternally, but that no matter the circumstance and what's happening, we have the ability to live with the pure joy and happiness that can only come from a desired life with Christ that he gives us. So, nice, Abel, destroying my computer. I'm just kidding. But I hope that you guys are having a great Easter. I hope that you continue to enjoy the Easter season. And even in the midst of everything that we're going through right now, I hope that you continue to carry on the peace, love, and joy of Christ, because that is what Christ truly invites us to as Christians. To not live a life of sorrow, but to live a life resurrected. To live within the hope, glory, and power of the resurrection, and to remember the power of Christ. So, happy Easter. Enjoy Easter. Enjoy this Easter season for the next few days as we go through the rest of this Easter season. And know my prayers for you guys, my love for you guys, and know that I'm praying that we get to see each other soon. I really do hope that we get to see each other soon and be united again in presence. Other than that, have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll let Avila give you one last goodbye. Dun, da, da, da. It's like she doesn't know what to do. There it is, maybe. Whoa. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Have a happy Easter. Take care. I'm praying for you. AMDG. All glory to God.